Krillin. He peaked. But it was a glorious peak. From the moment he, Bulma, and Gohan touched down on planet Namek, it was game time. Outrageously strong enemies in all directions, a dwindling number of Namekians being slaughtered, and a single goal of locating this planet's Dragon Balls so they could wish all their dead friends back to life from the previous arc. The stakes were high. And who was leading the charge? Who was holding down the fort? Who stepped up to the plate and pulled off a series of guerrilla-style raids? Krillin. Yeah, it was Krillin. And that's not all. Now, he's also mentor to Gohan and is teaching him all about emotional and ki/chi/energy control, whichever one, your pick, in the face of overwhelming odds. See, at this point in Dragon Ball, when you have planet, galaxy, universe level destroying enemies, you need to play it smart. You have to know when to engage or just observe, when to isolate and pick off your enemies one at a time, and also when to make tenuous alliances with old enemies and then almost immediately betray them. At all of these things, Krillin excels, the sneaky little so-and-so. And then, like mist, his importance and feats in the story disappear, fade away, leaving him a mere background character in the wider Dragon Ball universe. Now that sounds harsh, and I'm sort of joking, also sort of not, but that's because it's kind of true. I'm not saying Krillin fell off, but you have to admit that the scale and strength of enemies after the Frieza saga, and kind of during, just meant that it's hard for someone like Krillin to keep up, to go toe-to-toe. And that's a problem that carries on even in Super, which I'm not going to talk about. Fuck Super. He's only human, and what a human he is. Maybe the second or even first most powerful human in Dragon Ball. That's if Tien is a human or not. Also, is Krillin a human? God knows, and frankly, I don't care. Let's get back to Namek. It's minutes after landing on Namek that Gohan and Krillin sense some malevolent chi in pretty much all directions, and even see Vegeta's pod just arc through the sky as it lands. In utter disbelief at their bad luck, Krillin orders Bulma to just go back home and bring back Goku, which she reveals that all in all would be around about a 2-month round trip. However, it's then immediately after this that Krillin suggests that maybe they all just go home and call it a day, as clearly the opposition is just too great for the 3 of them to handle. I say 3, 2 really. I do think that this immediate backstep on Krillin's bravery is doing him a little bit dirty, and it's a bit of an injustice, but we'll move on. Krillin more than makes up for it later on. However, this plan immediately goes up in smoke when 2 Frieza Force soldiers arrive and blow up the ship. Good one. As they prepare to fight, Krillin tells Gohan to suppress their chi and just focus their energy, fooling the 2 Frieza Force soldiers into thinking that they're just some weaklings with no power levels. I say fooling the enemy, I mean fooling their scouters. Then they immediately power up and deliver just devastating single hits to these 2 nameless, maybe nameless, Frieza Force soldiers. See, now this is peak Krillin. In fact, no, it's peak Dragon Ball. Just this small scene here. It's the smart use of energy suppressing and then releasing, which carries over from the first fight with Raditz at the start of the Saiyan saga. And it's these simple, yet really obvious techniques that just sometimes give Z fighters the advantage in a fight. It's also so useful that not long after this, it's revealed that Vegeta has also learned to sense power levels, because that was one of his major weaknesses when he first invaded Earth. It's not long after this encounter that Frieza, Zarbon, Dodoria, and a bunch of other Frieza Force soldiers fly by and absolutely traumatize Gohan and Krillin with their outrageous power levels. Regardless, with the advantage of having a Dragon Ball radar and the ability to suppress their chi, Krillin and Gohan run, and I mean literally run, after the enemy in pursuit just to see where they're going. Again, running, because flying releases too much energy and will make them detectable to the enemy scouters. I just love the tactical thinking. I love the limits that these people have to put on themselves in order to fool the enemy. It's just good writing. It's just good writing. It's obvious, but that doesn't mean it's not good. It's peak. It's just peak. Upon arriving at the village that Frieza and his men have traveled to, they witness an absolute massacre. The Namekians are hopelessly outmatched by Zarbon and Dodoria, and even the Namekian reinforcements that arrive, they turn up in order to fight and also get absolutely trounced. What is interesting to note, however, is that Namekians are capable of hiding and then releasing their power levels just like human beings are. I say human beings. Earthlings, which momentarily allows them to confuse some of Frieza's weaker soldiers and deal with them. And the village elder uses this time to just outright destroy all the scouters he can see, absolutely crippling Frieza and his soldiers' ability to sense where people are. In a rage, Dodoria murders the remaining Namekians and one Namekian child, and just as he's about to kill the other one, who we know to be Dende, he gets saved by an enraged Gohan, who is no longer shackled by the scouters, can now power up to full power and just land an absolute sucker punch on Dodoria. Krillin rightfully is none too pleased about this. After all, Gohan is an actual child on a battlefield. Krillin is fully responsible for whatever happens to Gohan. He's got a child at risk here. There's a child at risk. But the 3 somehow manage to escape with Dodoria hot on their heels. With some more absolutely brilliant tactical thinking from Krillin, he hands Dende over to Gohan, flies up to Dodoria, and releases a Taioken or solar flare, blinding him, meaning that now we can't see or sense energy, and the three of them hide. It's almost a clean escape. Unfortunately for Dodoria, he runs into Vegeta and gets killed. What's interesting about this, however, is that Vegeta naturally senses the 3 power levels and heads over in that direction, hoping to capture what he believes to be some Z fighters. And a great detail here is that whilst Vegeta can now sense energy, he's new to it. So when the others suppress it, he just generally is like struggling to see or locate where they are. It's a nice little detail. It's neat. He's a newbie. He's a noob. He flies off in a Vegeta style, half and the gang return to Bulma, who informs them that Goku will be arriving on planet Namek in 6 days. Despite this good news, there's another horrifying turn of events. As the gang are all sat down about to enjoy some meal or rest, they feel the unmistakable presence of just countless Namekian lives being snuffed out by Vegeta, who, remember, is very much a villain at this point. It's honestly scenes like this that remind me that Vegeta is borderline irredeemable. Like, he does some fucking horrendous shit. But we love Vegeta. Remember, he blew himself up that one time. 2 times. 1.5 times. With Dende's help, Krillin forms a plan. Travel to the Elder Guru, Great Elder, whoever, and take his last remaining Dragon Ball and hide it. Having a Dragon Ball radar means that they're the only ones that can actually find it, and if you take it away from Namekians, you can't sense their energy and then assume that's where Dragon Balls are. It's a great plan. And the best thing is, it's a last-ditch effort just to stall. Krillin has now moved on to a new tactic. That tactic is just to say, right, we need to just wait until Goku gets here and can help us out. We can't do this on our own, so we just have to stall. Makes sense. Krillin, he's not here to fight everyone. He's here to survive. He's here to protect lives the way he can, by being a sneaky little rat. Also, remember, he's not willing to put Gohan in the same line of fire. It makes sense. So, with Dende's help and directions, he risks flying at full speed, knowing that Vegeta might be able to sense him, to get to the Elder's home immediately, or as quickly as he can. If he can hide the Dragon Ball, then they just have to wait 6 days. Goku will save the day. With 5 hours left on their flying journey, yes, 5, Vegeta and Krillin both pick up on each other's energy signatures. Vegeta heads over, obviously. Krillin says, let's hide. Fortuitously, Krillin's energy is mistaken for Zarbon's, who is also on the scene. And as the two battle, Krillin remarks that the two of them are just way out of his league. He has no shot, and it's time to just escape. Finally, the two arrive at the Elder Gurus. Krillin meets Nail, an Elder Guru, who already knows why they're there. Guru explains that essentially he's going to die in a few days anyway, and once he does, the Dragon Balls are also going to be rendered inactive, obsolete. Big rocks. And all Krillin has to do is hide them until that happens. And finally, he remarks that Krillin is hiding some dormant energy down there. He got some stuff. He's got some stuff going on. And that he can release it for him. With absolutely no consent, he awakens the power that's still within Krillin, who never even imagined that he could be this strong, before asking if the same could be done to Gohan. So, new plan. Krillin is going to use his new strength to fly back to Gohan in just a couple of hours, bring Gohan back to Elder Gurus, get his power awakened. Then the two of them will be stronger than they are now, and hopefully we'll just have a better shot at surviving this whole thing. It's a solid plan. Unfortunately, being carried away with his new power, Krillin just completely forgets to sense anything around him, and whilst carrying a Dragon Ball back to Gohan and Bulma, gets pursued by Vegeta, like very closely pursued. Vegeta makes an absent-minded comment about how he shouldn't be that strong and he's still not Zarbon's level, but like, something fishy's going on here. For Krillin, this is a bit of an L. When Krillin arrives back at Bulma's, it's literally not until Vegeta sets down that Krillin realizes he's been followed this entire time. Vegeta then has this pretty cool moment where he just says, don't even fucking bother running. Once I'm done with this guy over here, Zarbon, who's just arrived, we'll talk. Once Zarbon is dead, Vegeta very kindly offers a deal. Their Dragon Ball in exchange for keeping their lives. Krillin, knowing that Gohan has already set off to find Vegeta's stashed Dragon Balls, takes the deal, in the hope that Gohan finds just at least one of these Dragon Balls and takes it and hides it, meaning that Vegeta's collection is incomplete. In a brilliant exchange, Gohan ends up with Vegeta's Dragon Ball, and Vegeta ends up with Krillin's Dragon Ball. With neither side able to make a wish to Purunga and Elder Guru's life running out, it looks like a sure victory for the remaining Z fighters. Eventually, after more energy tracking and games of cat and mouse across an entire planet, Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta all end up at Elder Guru's. Gohan has his power awakened and becomes so powerful that Vegeta just assumes that Goku is in that building and demands he comes out and fights him. It's at that point, upon sensing the arrival of the Ginyu Force, Vegeta convinces the others that the danger they face is so great that the only chance they have for all surviving is by using the Dragon Balls to make Vegeta immortal. If they do this, he swears to leave the group alone, and Krillin, without many options, agrees to it. New member acquired. Armed with new scouters, the Ginyu Force track down the Z fighters and Vegeta immediately, like within hours of landing on the planet. They steal the Dragon Balls and get ready to annihilate the group. Krillin and Gohan use the exact same tactic as earlier, suppress your power, then release it and try and deal like a single knockout blow. But this time, it doesn't work. Gohan and Krillin are almost killed by Guldo, the weakest member of the Ginyu Force, before Vegeta manages to step in and save their lives. Save their lives? Or did he just see that someone was looking the other way and thought he'd just kill them? Probably that. He's a villain. Krillin and Gohan join Vegeta in his fight against Raccoon, but just get absolutely decimated. Gohan gets his neck broken. But then, finally, Goku lands and arrives on the scene, here to save the day. And to be honest, that's pretty much it for Krillin, until he's exploded by Frieza. A poor reward for being the GOAT of this arc so far. But this is Dragon Ball. No one stays dead for long, except Grandpa Gohan. Rest in peace. By the end of the saga, Krillin is again revived. That's 2 revivals now. And he goes on to live a long and happy life, I guess. Dragon Ball Super hasn't ended and will now never end. Krillin will never again reach the heights that he attained in the Namek saga. But hey, that's life. Krillin had great narrative innings. In original Dragon Ball, we witnessed him transform from this brat to a minor antagonist, to a rival and a friend of Goku's who was able to keep up with him to a point. He has great showings at the World Tournament and is always paired off against people that just, are just too strong. But hey, unlucky. And his death at the hands of Tambourine pushes Goku to achieve levels of new strength that no one just thought would be possible at the time, on a quest of revenge and justice. I'm gonna edit that part out. And his revival marks the start of the next Dragon Ball era. His battle against the Saiyans and his actions on planet Namek prove that Krillin can keep up. He can pull his weight, he can do his part. But if you put him in the firing line of a planet, galaxy, universal destroying threat, there are limits. But that's fine. What do you want him to do? Go Ultra Instinct? Achieve God Key? Ain't gonna happen. It shouldn't happen. Dear God, don't let it happen. There is no shame in saying that Krillin peaked during the best arc in Dragon Ball. None. He was an absolute beast at his peak, a tactical genius who rose to the challenge and importantly, knew his limits. He knew when to hand things over to the powerhouses on the team, and even though he was dead by the end of it and got revived, he set the right things in motion. So thank you, Krillin, you little bald bastard.